Hello everyone. Our project is an image caption generator. We will be using two CNNs to extract the features and an LSTM to then predict the captions. We will then compare the performance of the two CNNs to see which of them performs better. My name is Akhil and my teammates are Gokul and Shaolin. These are the references for our project. We have referred to the following articles as well as another variety of online resources to be able to perform our project. The main motivation for our project is to enable computers to describe what they see, useful for visually impaired, and a variety of other applications, of which one is to enable easier searching of images. This is an overall architecture of our project, where we have an input image, then we use a CNN to extract the features, and then we use an LSTM to predict the captions. Let's take a look at the first CNN that we have. The first one we have is the VGG16, which has 16 layers. For the 16 layers, the first 13 are convolution layers, and out of these convolution layers, we will be extracting the image features. We will not be using the dense layers for prediction. We then have the inception layer, where the initial few layers are convolution layers, which then splits up into branches where each branch performs convolution with a kernel of a different size, and then the output is concatenated, and this process is repeated multiple times. Even for this, we will not be using the final dense layers for prediction. We will only extract the image features using the convolution layers. I will now hand over this presentation to my friend Gokul, who will walk you through the EDA process of our data.
Hi, this is Gokul, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the pre-processing of the captions we did. You can see that there are about 40,000 captions. That's because there are 8,000 images with 5 captions each. And we can see that on an average, there are 11 captions with a maximum of being 38 words in a caption. 11 words in a caption. And we did a simple frequency plot after removing the stop words to see what kind of words that are there are most frequently present, and you can see that the word dog is present around 8,000 times. Shows us that a lot of people like taking pictures of their dogs. And then we did a simple TF-IDF on the clean text to find what kind of topics are present on the in the captions. We can see that the first topic is a lot talks a lot about the environment, whereas the second and third talk about the characters in the environment, like a person, dog, and so on. Then we did a k-means cluster to try to see if there are any distinct clusters found in the captions, and we did not find any clear distinct clusters. As you can see that there's a lot of overlap. Similarly, we plotted the LDA model to see if there's any overlap with the topics, but here we can see that all the three topics are very distinct and different from each other. Now Akhil will talk for the next part.
Thank you, Gokul. Here we have our final output, our final model. What we have done is to pre-process the data using a variety of functions, and we have then converted all of the pre-processed files into pickle files, and we have loaded them to our Google Colab environment, and we will then be running our model from here. So in our model, what we do here is to import all of the necessary packages and libraries. The max length, vocab size, embed size, and the path, we have hard-coded these values in after we have pre-processed all of the captions and images. So we have the max length of a caption at 39, we have a vocab size of 1665, and an embedding size of 300. Here we define the model, and if you take a look at the model, we have two input layers. The first input layer being of an image, and then we also have the caption input. So the caption input is then projected onto an embedding layer where each caption is mapped to a 300 dimension vector using the glove model. The output of the embedding layer is fed into a time distributed LSTM which predicts all the sequences, and the uh, the image vector the image vectors are passed to a dense layer which then converts the image of the input shape. In this case for VGG was 512. It converts that to a 300 dimension space. We then add both of these features using the add underscore 4 layer, and the output of that is fed to a bidirectional LSTM, and we finally perform the caption generation using the dense layer. Here we have the embedding matrix. We are setting the weights of the embedding matrix using the embedding layer using the embedding matrix file that we generated. The embedding matrix file has been generated by pre-processing captions and using the GloVe model for mapping the word indexes to a vector. We then set the input paths and the output paths that we need to run our model. We then again have the summary of our model here. We compile our model, and here we are using a loss function of categorical cross entropy, an optimizer of Adam. And here we have a data generator function which feeds data into the model. So here what we have done is we will be taking in the image descriptions, the feature descriptions, the tokens, and the batch size. And our data generator then feeds an image, a partial caption, and the label to the LSTM for it to be able to train. And here we have the training of the model. We are running the model for 20 epochs with a batch size of 32. And as you can see, the model has been trained here. And this is a plot of the loss function, and we can see that the loss function has reduced monotonically. We then save the model weights for future so that we won't have to run it again and can directly use the model for predictions. And here we have the predict captions function. So what the predict caption function does is to take an image feature and then predict the appropriate caption for that image. Thank you. Now that we've trained the model, we're going to predict on the test images. So we have this function here to predict on test images. The function takes an image as an input and it returns the predicted caption as an output. Now that we have the predicted captions, we then take the test file, which has 5 captions for each image, and we then write these 5 captions into 5 separate files so that we can then evaluate these captions with the predicted caption. We then print out the predicted caption and the reference captions. In this case, we've only printed out the first 3 reference captions, which is 3 captions for that particular image. And the predicted caption is that a brown dog is jumping over a fence, which you see is very close to what these 3 captions capture. And it's doing a very good job of that. Then we use the BERT score to get the score of how well our sentence is doing, our prediction sentences are doing. And so this shows, so the BERT score shows a distribution of the scores, and then we see that for the BERT score, we have values for inception on the high, some values on the higher end as well, and this is for one file. That is one file that contains the captions that we are comparing with the predicted captions. And this is for the BERT. We see that there are a few values on the higher end of the scale as well, which means that the BERT is doing Inception is doing a pretty good job of the prediction of captions. If we switch over to VGG, we're doing the exact same thing here. We're loading the model and then we're predicting it and returning a caption. We're predicting the caption for an image. We're again writing the test images into 5 different files. And here we have the predicted caption. It says that the brown dog is running through snow, which is again very close to what these captions represent. And we then use the BERT score to get the output. And if you see, although they are very comparable results, the number of higher values are considerably lesser for the VGG backbone as compared to the Inception. If I quickly switch back, you see this here, and you see that there are more number of values and some values even towards closer to 1. So which makes us think that Inception as a backbone is doing a better job, and we may be able to show this better with a larger data set or with more amount of training. And the rest as explained in our report, and thank you so much.